Welcome on the news belt of the AM show. Now in our first story, the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Kwabena Jumfo, is asking the Attorney General, the governing New Patriotic Party, and the police to prosecute persons who assaulted Cape Coast-based radio station Cape FM representatives. Now speaking at a news conference, Mr. Jumfo indicated that the interpretation of the laws governing press freedom were somewhat biased. He believes the appropriate authorities should ensure the right things are done to ensure an incident-free election.
Very importantly, we raise issues and exercise our displeasure on the use of two obnoxious laws, which seems to criminalize free speech, which are merely defamatory and can be dealt with under the civil remedies. For the avoidance of doubt, we are referring to Section 76 of the Electronic Communications Act, 2008, Act 775, and similarly, Section 208 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act, Act 1960, Act 29. We are very much aware that once these laws remains in our book, the law enforcement agencies will continue to use them against us by applying them on us, especially during this election year, which is going to be a test on our enviable democracy. We are therefore, by this pressure, calling on the government, especially the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, to take steps by initiating a process to repeal these obnoxious laws. We recognize that the media and journalists can sometimes be reckless and unprofessional to the extent of publishing false and defamatory stories. Fortunately, the laws of the country provide aggrieved entities with remedies for civil actions against citizens, journalists, and media organizations. It is regrettable, therefore, that repressive sections of the Electronic Communications Act and the Criminal and Other Offences Act 1960, Act 29, are being weaponized to muzzle free speech under the current government. We make the following demands. 1. The MPP at the regional and national levels must investigate the matter immediately and identify the culprits. 2. The MPP at the regional and national levels must sanction the perpetrators of the assault on David. 3. The Ghana Police Service should investigate the incident immediately and speedily in order to prosecute the culprit. 4. The Ghana Police Service should investigate and identify the purported police officer who invited David before he was assaulted and bring him to face sanctions for unprofessional conduct. We hereby serve notice that if by close of Friday, January 12, 2024, these demands have not been met, we shall advise ourselves accordingly. Colleagues, it is unfortunate that we have begun the year on this barbaric note. But as we have already served notice, we shall fight back with every weapon we can marshal in our industry to repair the attacks on journalists as we go into election 2024. And we can assure the evil plotters and doers that they cannot fight the media and win. We want to assure the media fraternity that we shall continue to defend their interests at all costs. This year, we shall continue our campaign against the obnoxious law used for criminal prosecution of free speech. We know they will be used as part of the strategy to silence the media, but we shall resist them with all force. If the system fails to protect us, we shall protect ourselves.
Now, a youth group affiliated to the governing New Patriotic Party in the Asen South constituency is appealing to the party not to make the mistake of disqualifying anyone who contests incumbent Member of Parliament, Reverend John Ntim-Fodjour. According to the group, any move to make the incumbent MP go unopposed will lead to serious cracks in the party that will make them lose the seat. Spokesperson for the group, Ebenezer Krang, has been addressing a news conference.
Aspirants eagerly await the outcome of their vetting. We have noticed some discrepancies that require immediate attention. And that is crafted in the Akan language. And I quote, "Ahunubi penti na boasrewa jine bagra the way ne near to unquote. It has come to our attention that both aspirants on January 5 successfully went through the vetting process at the regional office in Cape Coast. Yet the results were not declared at the regional level. The reason is not yet known. Furthermore, the crucial process of balloting was not conducted, leaving aspirants and their supporters in a state of uncertainty and confusion. As it said that coming events cast their own shadows of them, and being guided by the experience of the past, one has to tread cautiously to avoid a repetition of yesterday's mistake. We know why we are saying this, because we are all witnesses of what happened in 2020 election, where undue tension were subjected to Asen South district. The repercussions were enough for us to bear. We believe that fairness and transparency are the cornerstones of a democratic society. And we all know that in democracy, the people are given options to choose. So it is therefore imperative that these principles are upheld throughout the entire electoral process. The MPP has always prided itself on being a party that values integrity, inclusivity, and equal opportunities for all its members. Therefore, we urge the authorities to ensure these values are upheld in the current vetting process. We understand that the decision makers in the MPP have a challenging task at hand, but we implore them to consider the aspirations and dreams of the candidates who have dedicated their time, effort, and resources to serve the people of Asen South. It is crucial that the outcome of the vetting process is fair and transparent, leaving no room for doubt or speculations, so that whoever that emerges as the winner in the upcoming parliamentary primaries will get the full support of all.
Now, health authorities in the Asen East Enclave are worried about the increasing number of new HIV infections across the region's urban areas. Regional Director of Health, Dr. Fred Adomaku-Boateng, says the region's urban population recorded an average of 4.8 HIV prevalence, a figure above the national average of 2.8. He wants Ghanaians to adhere to the various preventive measures, as well as know their status as the region works towards reducing its HIV prevalence. Anas Abid has more.
Human immunodeficiency virus is a serious public health problem and a major cause of death in many parts of Africa, including Ghana, which has one of the highest rates of HIV in the West African sub-region. The Ghana AIDS Commission recently disclosed that out of a total of 16,574 new HIV infections recorded in the year 2022, females accounted for 2/3 of the total figure, and the Ahafo Enclave continued to be one of the regions with highest rate of HIV prevalence. Health authorities in the region are, however, concerned about the rise in the number of new infections in the region's urban areas, which is doing an average of more than 4.5 compared to the national average of 2.8. Dr. Fred Adomaku-Boateng is the Regional Director of Health Services.
When we talk about HIV, I know we know the figures going around, latest figures released by the Commission. So, for example, we can talk about the rural-urban divide, which is very important. So, if you look across the country and you look at the mean or the prevalence of people with HIV, in terms of the rural population, we are doing very well. However, when it comes to the urban, it's not the same. So, if you are looking at an average of urban across the country of 2.6, 2.8, Bunis, we are first and third, and this first and third is not something that we have to address. So you have Nkranza hovering around 5, and more than 5, and you have the Chiman hovering more than 4.8.
The situation, according to Dr. Fred Adomaku-Boateng, is being fueled by the commercial nature of the Chiman and Nkranza, which are both located at the heart of the country.
These are being our challenges and we know the reason. You have a lot of routes coming to Techiman. You have almost everybody passing, our brothers almost across coming to Techiman. It's very powerful commercial area where you have all activities going on.
Dr. Fred Adumakubuaten is, however, urging the general public to work towards knowing their statuses as well as adhere to the use of condom as the region works towards addressing its HIV/AIDS prevalence rate.
The moment you get into that state and you are testing, then you start using this cliche that a test doesn't know any dirty water. Please, when it comes to HIV/AIDS, there are some dirty waters that you don't have to venture. And so the try and tested methods that should also use that. Look, if you don't know it's not a stable partner, these try and tested methods should also be used. Condoms. You have to make sure that you use condoms. And then more importantly, make sure that we know our status. That is what we are going to look at going 2024. And our target and our aim is that everybody should be able to know your status. Everybody should know. It's a campaign that we are going to go massively on that when it comes to HIV.
Reporting for JoyNews, Anas Sabit, Techiman.
In our next story, the director of the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, Professor Dorothy Yeboah, is stressing the importance of extracurricular activities for personal growth and development. Speaking at the second Nyansapo Dialogue series organized by the Advancement and Alumni Relations Office of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, she indicated it was also crucial for career success.
The extracurricular activities are also very important, and so please don't take them like, oh, me, I'm here, I'm coming to do medicine. When I finish with medicine, I am done. That is not done, because you are going to work with people. So you need to use this place as a place to develop your people skills. There are a lot of things that you can do. He mentioned ISEC, I mentioned even within the Christian fellowships. There are so many programs that you can learn that may be useful for you after school. And thankfully, Uncle Elliot told you he met his wife here. You may also meet your partner here through such interactions. So please be interested in your academic year, but make good time to also do other things which will shape you in the future. So don't just be a bookworm, please.
Professor Yeboah joined other personalities like CEO of City FM and City TV, Samuel Atamensa, actress Nikki Samonas, and CEO of Smartline Publishing Limited, Elliot Ajare. Mr. Samuel Atamensa, who read BSc Computer Science, was also emphatic on the need to sacrifice for maximum results.
It's not about being a CEO. It's about selflessness. Selflessness, service, hard work. Okay, since I started my adult life, I have never ever seen nor read anywhere that somebody has been awarded for oversleeping. A little bit of sleep, a little bit of slumber, and what? And your poverty will come like an armed man.
Nikki Samonas, who found herself at the College of Arts and Social Sciences, took the students through how like-minded colleagues helped her cope with daily struggles.
I need to build the relationships, and then you may never know how it spans out. So I believe that if you hold it well and you're business-minded, the friends that resonate with you business-mindedly, like with him, you generate something from there. Those people who are the church people, spiritual people, you generate it from there. The lovers still will end up getting married. Yes. And then that's how it helps. So just keep communication and make sure that you hold your friendships dearly.
With the exploits in the technology world, Mr. Elliot Ajare urged the students to leverage the opportunities available to build fortune. Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Deborah.
Now, a non-profit organization, News Now GH Foundation, is working to alleviate the plight of widows and orphans across the country. Leaders of the group say they are committing resources that will financially elevate such persons. Co-team lead Emmanuel Asante spoke after donating to one such group's in the Asen South district of the Volta region.
It was a shared exhibition of love and affection when members of News Now GH Foundation stormed the Have community of the Asen South district in the Volta region. It was an emotional moment for these widows and orphans who were gifted clothing, shoes, textiles and bags of rice among others to help lessen the hardship they go through. Emmanuel Asante is the co-chief executive officer of News Now GH Foundation.
We have a common WhatsApp groups. We have about 300 WhatsApp groups, of which we have members in it. When there's an issue, we just share it in the WhatsApp group and ask for members to support us. The letter that we get from the group, myself and then my colleague will add to it and we go and make the donation through it. Because there are some places you go and you look at the faces of the people who are receiving the items and you know that you are doing good. It's been God from day one and we hope we can continue doing more.
The relevance in extending support to people in need, it's something biblical, something that is expected of every man. I don't think that you should be having 1 billion in your account and looking at the poverty gap in Ghana. You go to some deprived communities, 1 cedi, 2 cedi for somebody to eat is a problem. So I feel like, no, I don't need to be hoarding funds in my accounts for people to be starving. So it's something I should be doing, yeah.
The Asen South parliamentary candidate for the National Democratic Congress, Frank Afiye, promised to commit to the welfare of his constituents.
We are exceedingly grateful and profoundly appreciate their gesture. We stand shoulder to shoulder with these people, and our presence here is to register that we have become partners in development, and I pledge on my honor that going forward we will do a lot in common in order to bring more smiles on the faces of our compatriots.
Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews, Have.
And that's the note on which we end the news this morning. But stay with us. Up next, the news review. We're joined by the NDC's parliamentary candidate for South Tone, Maxwell Lukuto. We'll be right back.